Hello and welcome to day 3 of the BFI Future Film Festival 2021. It is a fantastic festival. I've been involved for quite a few years now, and hopefully even more of you will have been able to get involved this year because so many events are online. I'm Gillan and I am very excited to be joined in conversation by a very cool new talent who you will recognise as having got a number of us through lockdown with her film Borah subsequent movie film. Please welcome Maria Bakalova. Hello.
Hello. Oh my God, you pronounce my name proper the way that it is. I cannot believe it. It's the first, and I think I'm even more excited to join you in this.
I'm so pleased. Thank you. Did my research. We will get on to your fantastic breakthrough role in a bit, but let's first start with the early years. I mean, you're still so incredibly young, but what sort of films were you watching when you were a child that you just kind of made you fall in love with movies?
So the reality is that in 2013, I think that was the first year when I started acting, 2012, 2013. When I get to the National School for Performing Arts with acting, because I was there before that with flute and piano and singing, but never acting. That was the year when the Bulgarian Film Festival, Sofia Film Fest, had 2 Danish movies, both of them with Mads Mikkelsen. One of them was A Royal Affair, and the other one was The Hunt. And I was like, okay, that's what I do. That's what I want to do to the rest of my life. I want to be like him. He is genius. So that's how I fall in love with probably more of Scandinavian cinema and start like watching more about who is Bergman and all of the other like pre-filmmakers like Tarkovsky, Antonioni. Now we have Zvyagintsev, and I have to mention him too. And so mostly I was more, how to say it, addicted to European cinema, not that much with American cinema, probably because in my mind was, okay, you will never get there, so try to focus around something that is near you, something in Europe. And at some point I was like, I should try to learn Danish because not a lot of people speak Danish. So if I know how to speak Danish, I might have my way to Zentropo, which is like also created by Lars von Trier and Peter Jehensen, I think. And Lars von Trier and Thomas Vinterberg creating Dogma 95, which is the film movement that I was deadly obsessed with for 8 years. These were the films that actually was like a Bible for cinema for me.
Incredible. What an amazing start. I mean, I was just watching Disney princess movies and the reason why I'm not where you are now. You mentioned that you were studying music, first of all. So tell me about that. What were your sort of initial kind of ideas about what you wanted to do? And then how easy was it to make that switch to acting?
So I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to be a rock star when I was young, 6 years old. And to be singing, you had to be part of the National School for Performing Arts with an instrument. But all of the places for piano students were already taken, and I had to find another instrument, and nobody was playing flute. And I was like, okay, that's so beautiful. It's so silver and fine, and it's like, I'm gonna be so girlish. And because of that, actually, still up until this day, this example, when I'm holding a glass of something, yeah, which is ridiculous. And I was struggling with this. Why am I keeping my finger there? But because when you're playing, you're keeping this up. And I just probably like a month ago realized why I have this in my hands. So I started with music, and I was playing flute for 12 years when I was 8th grade. I decided that I need something more. I want to start dig deep inside me and trying to escape, which are 2 completely different things, because I do wanted to know myself, but at the same time, I wanted to escape from my reality and to try to be different people every single day. It was fun because you're searching for new dreams, new people, new realities, and at the same time, yeah, probably will have different problems, but it's not going to be yours. And for me, it was like a charming version of schizophrenia. So that's how it started, but I kept the flute and the singing with me until I graduated high school. And then when I get to the university, it was not possible because it was 24/7 from 8 a.m. up until 11 p.m. in the academy. every single day, including Saturday and Sunday. And I was like,
oh my God.
that's the moment when we have to say bye for now with the music.
Your life was basically like that guy in Whiplash. That's what I'm picturing.
Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, that's actually one of my favorite movies. I
Me
don't know
too.
if you've seen it, but it's, for me, it's even more special than La La Land, which is also super beautiful, but Whiplashes.
Mm-hmm. So what was your first on-screen role then? And what kind of films did you start your career in?
I started with one independent movie called Transgression when I was in my first year in the National Academy. And it is really complicated part because she's been struggling with some ideas that she wants transgressive things, to ruin the laws, to break the rules, and searching for something that hasn't been found, I think, if that's the way to see it. And she's starting a relationship with somebody that she thinks is her father, and that's how she knows.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of crazy, but I do like the movie, and I do think it's important because it's triggering some important questions about when you're a teenager, when you're just in this moment, what is right, what is wrong. You have this, how to say it, anger against the world, and you want to be special, want to try something crazier, just to feel that you do something. I don't know, it's a weird time. I cannot believe that I handle it in my personal life.
You also have just such incredible kind of comic timing, and like I saw you on I've seen you on a few late night shows now, but the one with James Corden, and you know he's kind of like, he's very well known for his comedy, but you just blew him out of the water with your comedy. You're so funny. When did you realize that you have this talent, and how do you like work on or hone those skills, which obviously are so innate and natural for you?
I to be honest, I never thought that I can be funny, and probably because of that, all of my background for 12 years of acting, including theater, has been super dramatic, from person with mental illness to person with food disabilities to person with sexual relationship with her father to person with committing suicide or teenager pregnancy, things like that. And I was like, okay, I'm a real dramatic actress.
That's very dramatic.
But I think I'm just weird, a little bit awkward in person, and I'm using too many words. My face is moving all the time. So even if I'm trying to be serious, I think I kind of funny in the real life, which I'm not sure that is a compliment. But no, I'm joking, but I can be serious. But life is so boring when you're serious. So let's try to have fun. We're here for such a short period of time, for like 60, 70, 80, 90 years max. And what after that? If you don't enjoy it in the moment, what is the purpose of life?
It's a very good rule to live by.
I'm still searching for my comedic timing and my comedic performance. But maybe because I've been working with Sasha, and he is genius, and he did teach me how to keep being concentrated in some of the moments. And it's actually, playing a comedy is similar to playing something dramatic, but just the script, the problems that the comedy has are smaller. But you as an actor have to feel them, that they are the end of the world, which makes comedy happening, I think. I don't know.
How aware were you of Sacha Baron Cohen's work? Did you grow up with it? Was it, you know, around? Had you seen a lot of it?
The more I'm searching about it, the more I realize that it's been around, even in my country. I wasn't familiar with the comedy, again, maybe because I never thought that I can be part of something funny. Maybe things that I've been playing, what they've been cast me in. But I was familiar that Sasha made two great shows at the same year when we started with Borah. He made The Spy, and he made it Who is America? Two completely different things. One of them strongly political, where he's playing like 6 characters, I think. And the other one was incredibly dramatic show where he is brilliant as the spy. So I knew who he is. And I started searching in IMDb, Google, and I saw all of the credits for Borah, Bruno. the Allergy show, Allergy in the House, and The Dictator, and Brothers Grimsby, all of his work. But I was like, the project is so confidential. If it was a sequel, probably they would have told me to check it. So that's why I was like, okay, let's not focus on this. Try to listen to your intuition. Try to be in the moment and see which direction he's gonna take you with. So I had no idea that it's Borah and that we are doing this thing, because it was a secret.
It must have been so surreal for you finding out, you know, like at such a late stage what the project actually was. But just tell me about that initial like introduction to you having to do an audition tape. That must have been surreal.
So the information about this audition was out for maybe a few days, and most of the people in my academy were aware of this audition, and everybody has sent their self-tapes. I was like, no, that sounds sketchy. They asked for us to record something with all of our details of our lives and probably fly us somewhere to shoot something without any idea of the script, who's going to star in the movie, what is the studio behind, when this project is going to be out. It was like a scam at the beginning. Now I realize that if we knew all of this information, probably the movie wouldn't be able to happen. But at the last day of my teaching in the university, when you have like a huge ball prom with all of your classmates, all of your teachers, the directors, ex-students, everybody, that's the moment when they give you your diploma around 10 a.m. and you start celebrating, probably like 24 hours.
And by celebrating, you mean drinking?
Celebrating, drinking, dancing, singing, everything, because it's the end. You're finally joining the real life, and you're going to have like a career. You have your diploma. You officially are an actor, not just want to be an actor. You are graduated. And you have this huge celebration that usually all of the people that are going through spend like 24 hours for real. But the next day I was lucky enough to be working on a project that it's really special to me, because it's a super feminist project. It's called Women Do Cry. It hasn't been out yet, but I just heard from my producers and directors that they're finishing it because they had few scenes to shoot also. And I had to be on location. They had to take me from my home to a location around 7 a.m. So between 5 a.m. when I get home to 7 a.m., I had only 2 hours to pack my things, take a shower, and go out. And I was like, that's not enough time to fall asleep. Let's do something. And my mom was finally sleeping, and she's the most paranoid person in the entire world. So I was like, okay, let's record this. At least I'm going to meet Julian. Julian Kostov is another actor from Bulgaria who is living in London. And he's like an advocate for Bulgarian talents and Eastern European talents. And he shared this audition because Nancy Bishop asked him for him help. And she's the casting director. So that's how I was like, okay, let's do this. And let's keep in touch with him because he's the friend of my friend. So I recorded it and I sent him as a joke without anything. And he sent it obviously to Nancy. And then they called me like 2 hours later that they want to join on a chat, on a video call. And I was like, I cannot, because I was in the woods. Because in that moment of the movie that I was shooting, my character is isolating herself in the wilds, literally. And I had no service, nothing, no Wi-Fi. So the next day I asked them to travel me to the nearest city and join the Zoom call. That was pre-Zoom, that was already, that was Skype by the time. And met them, but I was still like insecure. Is this a real thing? And then I went to England, met Nancy Bishop. She was brilliant, super convincing, super serious woman, something that I admire. But I was like, maybe that's a secret weapon. Maybe that's how they're tricking people for kidnapping and selling them. Probably, I don't know. I'm coming from Eastern Europe. Who is gonna get somebody from Eastern Europe, somebody with an accent, to play a lead part in a big budget Hollywood movie? It's usually never happened. If there is a part for us, it's 2-3 lines here and there as a prostitute or a mob guy or a crazy scion.
Yeah.
But that's how it started. I think I'm speaking too much.
No. It's all interesting. God, it's just such just what an introduction as well to this incredible, insane journey that presumably you've been on ever since that day. Talking about the making of the film, how did you approach those scenes in Borat where you're working with the public and non-actors, where, you know, you're having to improvise, and presumably if you don't hit the right note with them, the scene doesn't work and you can't really redo it. Tell me about that.
Maybe that's the most important thing, that you cannot have a second take. And we, the actors, are like, oh, I missed something here, can we do it again? And especially now when we are not shooting on, I don't know how to say it in English, but now we're shooting in digital, so we can afford to shoot another take and another take and another take. Back in the day, it couldn't be possible, but now we're a little bit spoiled. But with this movie, it's been like, okay, you have only one shot, do it perfectly, because these people have to believe that you're real. Because it's also something like a social experiment. You're seeing people's true colors. You're seeing how somebody's gonna react without knowing that this might be in the public space and everybody can see it. So why don't we treat each other better? Why don't we be nice and kind with each other? Why don't we love each other more? And you're just, I don't know. I was like, I have to believe that my character exists in the real world, just to make it happen that this should not exist. Just to show that that kind of treatment should not exist. The way that Borat is treating his daughter. And at the end, he's going to realize that he loves her. So, I don't know. We were rehearsing also a lot with the director, with Jason Wooliner. He actually showed the heart and the emotions of the movie, because all of the scenes were written in English, but when we were doing the scenes, Sasha is speaking in Hebrew with few Polish words here and there, and speaking Bulgarian with few Romani sounds words here and there. But the rehearsal part was really important because it was in English, and Jason was in his power to say, maybe that's the most important part. Maybe push here stronger, and that kind of things, I think.
How do you rehearse scenes like that, though? Like where you know that you're going to have to interact with members of the public. You can't, how do you rehearse that? It seems insane.
You're rehearsing what is it between Borat and Tuta, because they have their relationships developed in the script from the very beginning. How people are gonna react, you never know. People are so unpredictable. You might think that they might start laughing because things that this is a joke, or they might start yelling at you because they're mad at the things that they're seeing. Sometimes they're saying things like if your father was not here, and you're like, okay, how should I react here? But also the movie is showing some really beautiful human beings, like Judith, the Holocaust survivor, or Janice, the babysitter, and that's the point, I think. I hope.
Yeah, there were some incredibly moving bits actually in that. And, you know, that scene with Rudy Giuliani gets a lot of attention in the press, and it must have been incredibly nerve-wracking to film. How did you prepare mentally for that and then deal with the attention that it received afterwards?
I was preparing myself with my friend Nicole at my hotel room up until probably 3-4 a.m. and she was keep reading his biography to me while I was falling asleep, and she was like, and this, where he's born, Brooklyn, what about his kids, this, who is him, what are the 3 best things that he did for New York? And I was like, keep learning and learning and learning. Be prepared to be the biggest fan, because you have to be convincing. You have to be convincing that you know these people. You have to know from which country you're coming. Sasha has been changing some of his countries because, as example, I think the quarantine people knew about Kazakhstan, so he had to change completely his story or where he's coming from and learn it for a day or something. And you have to know just the background of the things. You have to be well trained. And it was nerve-wracking for me, not that much because of the political effect, because I'm not American. I will never I will never be that much, how to say it, familiar with American politics.
Yeah.
But more about the human factor. And I cannot say that it's such a huge difference between having a scene with Janice or having a scene with Rudy. For me, they're just people. At the end of the day, they're just human beings. And the more I'm thinking about, the more I'm realizing that it's not even about, how to say, the position that he is in, the age difference that is in. It's more about, if I was a man, would have he been doing the same thing? Would have he been interacting with the men journalists the same way? Would have he been tucking his shirt, laying on the bed with a men journalist, or drinking whiskey with a men journalist? And I don't know, I'm just curious about that more rather than the political side. I prefer to be not involved with this because again, I'm not American.
Yeah. And you're acting, you know, that was a scene for you.
Yeah.
And tell me about the kind of scale of the production. So something, you know, like this, which is presumably got, you know, a fairly big budget. It's a big kind of Hollywood film compared to some of your earlier films in Bulgaria.
Yeah, it's been different. We've been traveling a lot. We went to some really crazy, weird places. And I think actually that helped us to become a family, everybody. From the PAs to the producers to me and Sasha, it was like, how to say, the energy, the atmosphere was like family. We're in this together. And everybody's sacrificing his life probably and ready to catch COVID just to finish the movie because it's important and because we're putting our hearts there. So it was really, really, how to say, really, really organized. And all of the people that we've worked with are the best. They're genius in their jobs. So it's been great. Probably I don't know, the differences between independent movies and a big budget movie. I'm not at the side where the producers are. So for me, that kind of logistics are not really, really familiar. If you're a good person, if you're smart, if you're a hard worker, no matter is it a big budget movie or an independent film, and if you invest your heart in it, it's gonna be good. Just go clean there and enjoy it, because it's, I don't know, it's your life, it's your work, it's something that you should be passionate about. So risk it and go for it.
Well, as you say, you know, COVID did have, you know, kind of stop production at one point. So did you have to make changes to the script? You know, like in a world of improv, did you have to sort of do any more as a result of the COVID?
I think COVID actually helped the production a lot. No, I cannot say that. I don't. I was like, but the thing is that was the time when they sat together, all of the writers, the producers, and thought about how we can keep working, how we can keep doing what we do, and how we can finish this movie so to be able to release it by the date that was originally scheduled. So probably I think they changed some lines because of COVID, and COVID is part of the movie, which for me it's also something important because again, we're living here for like 8 years, but the art is going to be here forever. So why don't we try to capture the moment also and have it like as an example of what it used to be, because that's history. It should be a history soon, I hope, once we handle COVID.
Yes. Distant history.
I really, really cannot wait for the moment when everybody's going to be safe, vaccinated, and life will start again. So
yeah, it's coming. It's
crazy. Around Christmas, somebody asked me what I wish, and I was like, everybody to get vaccinated and to start to live the life again. So, but yeah, COVID probably adds something more to the movie, and they looked at the material that we already had. I haven't been part of the developing process because we worked with some incredibly talented writers, and we had a female voice also, Jenna Friedman and Erica Rivinoya. who probably more developed tutus line because they're women. So the script obviously changed. We have COVID in the script. We never catched COVID on set, which is something because of the incredible teamwork that we had and the people that we worked with for COVID safety.
It does sound like you had an incredible team around you, and you've described Sasha Baron Cohen as your mentor and your teacher. So what was the best piece of advice he gave you that you will still remember and will use?
Oh, what I use the most is actually because me as Maria, I am extremely nervous person. Every single time when I'm about to do something, there's like, I'm shaking, I'm gonna die. And he's like, use this, you can convert it and invest it in the scene because there's something more. If you're nervous about something, means that you are passionate about something. If you're passionate about something, it's something important. So nerves actually helps you, because if you're okay, whatever, let's do it, it's like, okay, why are we doing it? So Sasha made me realize that being nervous and being excited and being nerve-wracked, and even if situations are like crazy, it's something that is important because obviously you're passionate about it, and just use it.
How important do you think it is to have a mentor when you're beginning your career? And do you was that sort of a really do you think that Sasha Baron Cohen will continue to be a mentor even if you stop working together? Is he someone you can keep going to for advice?
I am going to try my best to keep going for advice from Sasha, because Sasha is one of the smartest, if it's not actually the smartest person that I've ever met in my entire life, because you have no idea, but his brain is like every single moment, and there are new things coming out in front, and it's just inspiring to watch how someone that is that smart can actually try to make this place that we're living in a better one. Because Sasha is like a hero. He really is doing a revolution through his art, because it's funny, it's entertaining, but at the same time he's targeting some really important questions and issues that are still happening while we're living in 2021 now. And it's crazy how, as example, there are some places in the world where women are treated this way, from the father to the husband, and completely subjugated by the patriarchy. The patriarchy exists in 21st century, and how women just in general should change themselves, their bodies, just to fit in the norm and to please the men's society, which is crazy. I mean, it should not be about the gender, it should not be about the religion, it should not be about the ethnic background, it should not be about your sexual orientation. We are all human, we're all equal. And that's what I think Sasha is trying to prove with through his art, and to make this world a better place, kinder place. So I do want to keep in touch with him forever, and I do want to work with him in anything. He is my mentor, and it is important to have a mentor because he is brilliant himself, but he's been a huge supporter for somebody that is a completely newcomer, somebody that has never faced his work, because that's his game. He developed this character probably the year when I was born.
I hope you told him that a lot.
Because I think Allergy is around 2000, and they started developing around 1996-7, and I'm born 1996. But there's never been a moment when I felt alone in this, and there's been like keeping my hand and supporting me and believing in me that I can make it. And I was scared. I mean, the bar was high. How I can stand right next to him and not ruin the movie? He's been advising me and really believed in me. So,
well, you have so much passion and fire in you. Would you consider mentoring an upcoming actor yourself in the future?
That's such a huge compliment. I would love to someday if I prove myself enough, because I cannot say that I can see myself nearest future established enough, proven enough that I'm good, as example, even close to how brilliant Sasha is. So if someday I grow that much that I can be helpful to someone, that would be my biggest dream, to I don't know, to help somebody, to support them, to tell them my advices and what I think, and to just be there. Someday if I don't know, it will be a dream.
You've already like made history by becoming the first Bulgarian actor to get a Golden Globe nomination. Where were you when you heard about that? That must have been such a high.
It is history, and it's something that I am really honored, humbled, thrilled that is happening, because it's never happened before. And it's a huge compliment, and it's beautiful for every little girl in Bulgaria and in Eastern Europe that things are possible, where it doesn't matter where you're coming from, it should matter what you stand for. And everything can happen if you, who said it? I think Walt Disney said it. Every dream can come true if you have the courage to pursue it. So, and if I will add something, if you have the right people to believe in you. But I was in LA with my agent and a really, really close friend, Cade Hudson. And he waked me up around 4 because we were having a goodbye party with him and my stylist and makeup artist the previous night, because I had to leave the next day for the movie that I'm shooting now. And he woke me up around 4:35. He was like, wake up, the globes are here. We have to watch them. And I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. And because usually I am watching it, but it's never like a pressure. Is something gonna happen? Is it possible to happen? And we were watching it, and I remember that I was literally for a second just small laugh and blackout, completely blackout. And maybe 20, 30 minutes later, I freaked out, all of the emotions in one, like crying, screaming, laughing, smiling, jumping, everything, just everything. But we were together, and I remember that because I had a video of another friend in Bulgaria that was on FaceTime with us, and he recorded it, and when they're pronouncing my name, and Kate is like, yeah! Well, I'm like, and it's like a blackout, full blackout. I had no idea what was happening, and it's just the biggest honor that I've received.
Well, congratulations. It is so well deserved. I do, you know, I imagine there's an element of it that must be perhaps bittersweet that you're not there in person. How is it for you having to experience all of this virtually, you know, no premieres or red carpets or award season lunches, etc.?
I was thinking about, especially that I was dying to have premieres, because I know because a lot of the people that worked on this movie had worked on the first one too. Mm-hmm. And some of them told me that when the first one has been released and when they've been in the cinema salons, people were laughing on the floor, like literally laying on the floor by laughing. And I was like, oh, I want to see this. I want to see how we actually affect people. Do we make them laugh? Because after this hard year that we all experienced, 2020, and when we were stuck in this 4 white walls all the time, everybody needs a little bit of laugh and something optimistic to remind us that at least we're alive and we're here together, and we're gonna make this go away soon, hopefully. But I was like, I want to see this movie, because that kind of humor is also a little bit, how to say it, contagious. Because if you hear someone laughing on the scene, you keep laughing itself. Yeah. And now when we released it, I was like, okay, but thanks God Amazon was with us and they brought it to the world at the right time. Mm-hmm. And that was probably what I missed about the red carpet. Of course, I was like, I'm gonna wear one of these beautiful dresses, really. But it is what it is.
It'll come. There'll be so many other premieres in your future. How did your family and friends kind of react in Bulgaria to your new stardom? How did your paranoid mum react to this?
So my mom, I think I mentioned that actually in front of James Corden, that my mom was actually really sad after she saw it for the first time. And she was actually sad because she really empathized Tuta. The way this little girl with huge heart has been treated. She actually joined the movie itself. And she was like, no, it's all not fair. She's so cute. We should support her. And probably after 2-3 times when she watched it, she was like, ha, 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 that's so funny. Things like that. But they're happy. They're happy that I'm healthy, that I never got sick, and that I was taken care of. And they love the movie now.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, oh, she's screaming at him like she's screaming at me. Oh, that's so real. So they're great.
Little insight there into your family background.
Yeah, they're great, and they're safe, responsible, because they're not 20 years old. But we will see when it's going to be the right time when I'm going to see them again, because it's been a long time.
Yeah, you must miss them so much.
I do.
You signed last year with your agent, Creative Artists Agency. I know, you know, a lot of young filmmakers are kind of think that, you know, getting an agent is one step closer to kind of being able to do everything you want to do. So tell me about that process. What was that like for you, and how has it helped?
First of all, at the beginning, I had no idea what is an agency. Maybe that's the thing what me and what Julian and I want to develop in Bulgaria, because it's not developed to have an agent. I had no idea what is to have an agent at the beginning. I signed with my other agent, who is British, Londoner, Tom Jego, like 10 days before the audition of Borah in person here in London. And I was like, okay, so what? He's like advising me or things like that. Had no idea what is it. Then, like, for a year of work, I was absolutely amazed how brilliant he is and how much you actually need this person if you want to work abroad, if you want to work on some foreign movies, not Bulgarians. So when the movie went out, I had few meetings with really amazing agencies, but when I met my team at CAA, they were so incredibly prepared. They knew everything about my biography, and the movie was already out, so they've watched it. And they made me a huge presentation where they see me, what they can expect of me. And I was like, okay, let's just work together. And I can say proudly that I cannot feel them only as agents. I do feel all of them as a family, because they are there all the time, and they're discussing things with me. At the same time, we can have fun virtually also. So they're amazing. It's just, and I also have to say that I'm really, really happy to be working right now, and that's because of them, because they connected me with this project with Judd. I had the opportunity to record self-tapes and to audition for this part, and to keep working, because that's all we want, the actors, to just work, or at least that's what I want. Yeah. Because I'm freaking out when I don't have work. It's like a disaster.
I wanted to ask you about the Judd Apatow project in a minute, but just before you just mentioned about how, you know, in Bulgaria that you don't have agents necessarily, or agencies.
No.
What is it like for the kind of actor scene in Bulgaria since they've seen you in this film and seen the success that you've got? Is that something that sort of uplifted, you know, younger actors in Bulgaria to kind of want to follow your path already?
I think probably that's one of the biggest gifts that I've ever received in my entire life. That all of these girls and boys hopes are bigger, that things are possible. And I think there is a thing that most of them should have in their mind. If she's able to do it, I can do it too. And that kind of confidence that we somehow have been missing, because there is literally no representation for Eastern Europeans in the Western cinema. And now when we actually have example like Tuta's character, which is a multi-layered character, and it's not the villain in the movie, the bad guy, somebody that is going to be you have this character who is making a huge parallel from here to there, and she have the heart. So everybody is more okay. So things are actually possible. We have the first step. Let's keep working. Let's go there. It is possible. Borders are open.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go there and work together. So it is inspiring, and I hope that it's just gonna develop that kind of relationship between different parts of the world, because we're all human. And I can say that I have a feeling that the last few years people are showing that they're thirsty, they're hungry for something different, and the diversity is actually what we all want.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are so many different stories, so many different accents, so many different ideas from different parts of the world, and if we all can capture these things together, it's going to be beautiful. It's really going to be beautiful.
It's very, very cool. And I love that you are now going to be in the next Judd Apatow movie. So what can you tell us about that?
The movie is going to follow some story of another movie that a crew is going to try to finish.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there is a huge pandemic called COVID-19. And they're stuck in a bubble in a hotel. And it's funny. Again, life is not that easy. Everyone has their own things that they're facing. So if we can make them a little bit laugh, it's something sweet, I think.
Absolutely. I just saw Barb and Star go to Vista Del Mar, and it is such a silly comedy, and it was so what I needed in the middle of this lockdown. I just needed that silly laugh.
Yeah. I mean, we need comedy. We need dramatic things. I think it's important for our mental health.
Mm-hmm. Have a balance
around us. Because either way, you're just all alone here, and you're not alone for.
Yeah. Yes. You mentioned earlier in the interview that Danish cinema is such a big inspiration for you. Is that still like a dream of yours, being involved in like a Lars von Trier, Susanne Bier production?
It is a huge dream, and it's gonna be there forever. It is. I am obsessed with Danish cinema, Scandinavian cinema too, just in general, but specifically Danish cinema, because I mean, Thomas Vinterberg just released another round, which is probably one of the best movies in the last decade. The previous one was The Hunt, and it's also plus Susanne Bier just released The Undoing, which and she's also Danish. I mean, and all of them are working with some incredibly talented actors like Mads Mikkelsen or Trine Dernholm, which is my idol. She's just genius. So it is a dream, and we will see. Things are meant to be; they are going to happen.
Do you have any advice for someone like yourself who wanted to break into Hollywood, but perhaps they're not British or American? How would you advise that they go about breaking into Hollywood?
Do not make my mistake and neglect my the English language, because it is important. It is important to speak proper English, not about the accent. The accents are something that we are who we are, and it's nothing that we should be ashamed, but learn proper English, not like me, and go and try and risk. And yeah, you might fall, but what if you fly? You never know. So risk as much as possible, because life is so short, and you have to enjoy every single moment. And find an agent or open a Spotlight account, and if you want to do it, you can find a way to do it. That's what I think. I think I've been working really hard when I was young, and I was more of an adult when I was young rather than now. But for sure, work on the language that you would like to work.
So like the language, so say, it's an English speaking film.
I mean, don't speak like me. No, I am trying to start learning proper English, because I do understand most of the things, but the way that I'm trying to express what I want to say, I'm using too many words, not the right way. So yeah,
I think you're expressing yourself beautifully, to be honest.
language is important, plus risk and go for it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, again, and there are so many agencies that you can find, and people are open, and I think that they're going to become even more open for for diversity, for people from Macedonia, Romania, Bulgaria, Slovenia, Slovakia, Ukraine, everywhere. Mm-hmm. So
and
I'm going to try my best to bring the attention to all of these countries, because I've been there, and even in my dreams I've never thought that it might happen. Just hasn't been happened. So I feel like I need to work on this as much as possible.
Something that I feel like I always struggle with, and I think a lot of people do struggle with, is self-promotion, you know, like really pushing yourself forward. Do you have any advice about aspiring young actors in terms of the best way to promote yourself?
To be themselves. Everyone is so unique. The moment when you start to have idols, it's important, but they should be just a direction that you want to be like them, but they're who they are. So be yourself. You are unique. Nobody can be like you. Just embrace who you are. And it's always beautiful. It's always beautiful and inspiring to see different people, because we are all different. They might be identical twin to someone, and they're going to be completely different people. No matter if they can be connected mentally somehow, people feel that these things. I have twins friends, and they can actually sense themselves, which is beautiful, but they're completely different people. So embrace who you are and believe in yourself. It's hard. I don't believe in myself that much, but risk and try and believe in your dreams. Work hard, but believe in your dreams, because they probably can happen.
Can you tell us anything about the Untitled anthology series that you're writing and producing with Julian Kostov, and how that came about?
That came about because we were talking about, again, about the reality that we're living in, and that should be something that triggers our attention and things that we want to ask the world and make an impact on the world also, because we have examples like Black Mirrors, which is one of our favorite shows, like me and Julian. We were talking about different stories connected somehow with the same idea. So we are still in a process thinking about, also with Insight Management, Tom Jago, and we will see where we can go there. Because if we start doing something that is going to be ours, it should be really, really important for us. And we think that kind of theme is important. So I'm going to speak probably more when we get there rather than now, because after you have something on paper, that's the time when you have to start thinking and how to say and formulate it outside.
Yeah, formalize it. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, was writing something that you were always interested in, or is that something that you found an interest in just through the stuff you've been doing recently and who you've met along the way?
I loved writing, especially when I was in Bulgaria. Recently, 2 days ago, my best friend Mila was like, "Do you have your diary with you?" And I was like, "I actually haven't written anything in the last 7 months." She was like, "Oh, hey, why? What is happening with you?" But I've been always writing in Bulgarian, and I do have few scripts in Bulgarian, which are more about Bulgarian society, because that's my background and that's where I'm familiar with. So I do love writing more of I don't know, like poems and things like that, or short stories. Writing a script, something really, really, really responsible thing. So I don't think I'm there yet. That's why people are screenwriters or just writers. I'm more of having ideas and writing the things that are in my life in this moment or that moment, but we can all develop them together.
Well, it does sound like you've met some amazing creatives along your journey, so presumably they're people that you want to work with, as well as the people you were talking about earlier, like Susanna Beer, etc.
Yeah.
I do think that kind of comedies, you know, like Borat, for example, people can be a bit snobby about them. But you, especially, have been winning so many awards for this role. Do you think that people's expectations of an award-winning film are changing?
I hope that people won't be suspicious about seeing the movie. Yeah, it might be a little bit, I don't know. And me as a person, I will never think about things before seeing or experiencing them, because you might have one idea and when you see it, to have a completely different idea.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Everybody can know their answers for themselves. The thing is that Borat does have some silliness, some silly jokes, but behind all of the jokes, there are some really important messages, because we're targeting how we should treat each other, how equality should be the thing, and showing the heart in the movie is something that at the end of the day, we need to be surrounded good people. We need love again. And that's probably the message that Tuta learns from her babysitter, the amazing Janice Jones, and later Tuta is telling the same message to her father, that we are all human and we are all equals. That the thing that I'm a woman right now and you're a man should not make any differences.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe in that. I do believe that if we all treat each other with love and respect, the world will be a better place. And I think that's why the movie is important. And I can say that the movie is trying to unite people by showing them some really good examples and some maybe not that good.
So yeah.
But yeah, it's different when you see it on the screen. And for me, it was a life-changing when I spent few hours with Janice, maybe a full day with her. It was like 6 hours. And when I was keep repeating some crazy, ridiculous questions, sometimes saying something offensive, and she was keep there. She was like supporting me and showing me, no, maybe that's not the thing that you want to that you want to say. That's not the thing that you want to do. Use your brain, because don't listen to some people. It should not matter. Love who you are, not what somebody expect for you to be. And really, really with kindness trying to teach me. And for me, as Maria was like, okay, wow, that's something that I want to learn. That's someone that I want to be like, because she is like a true angel. She's such a pure soul, and it's beautiful.
I think that's a really nice place to end it. You can obviously see Borat's subsequent movie film on Amazon Prime. I can't wait to see you next in a Thomas Vinterberg alongside Mads Mikkelsen at some point in the future, hopefully written by you as well. Remember as well, to everyone watching, there is one full day of the festival left, so do go and check out our programme for lots more exciting events, which are all free and available to watch worldwide. Thank you so much for joining us, Maria Bakalova. It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It hasn't been only one time. You did it again. I cannot believe it. Thank you. It was my pleasure.
Thank you.